Welcome back to my channel. This is Quantum Visions, and in this video we're about to touch on an ex-officer who's seen prejudices against the black and the brown community, and he's about to touch on a few things on how he's seen them commit crimes against the black and the brown community. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe. Let's get it.
We are here with Bernard Robbins for Comedy Hype Plus. Bernard, thank you so much for your time today. My name is Tina Sampay. I'm a journalist from South Central, also known as Slauson Girl. So today we're going to have a conversation about your experience as a former Los Angeles police officer and what led you to quitting the department and subsequently filing a lawsuit. So how are you feeling today?
I'm excited to be here. I'm happy that you picked up the story. I know a lot of the work that you do in the community, and we appreciate you. So I'm glad that you picked up this story. I think it's important.
It is
Yes.
important.
So yeah, you reached out to me, and yeah, I thought that it was definitely important to bring this to a wider audience, which is why we're here on Comedy Hype Plus today. So let's just get into it. You grew up in Los Angeles in South Central, and you were a LAPD officer for 3 years,
Yes.
but you quit. Talk to me about the incident that led up to you quitting the department.
Okay. So, yeah, I started.
So it looks like he's really about to dig into this one. I only saw like 30 seconds of it, so you're about to get my full reaction, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to be surprised at my reaction because I'm pretty much aware of the police brutality and the prejudices that the police have on the black and the brown community. But let's hear from the official, the ex-officer who's seen it with his own two eyes and seen the behind the scenes. Let's take a look.
The academy in August 2019. After the academy, I ended up at West LA, which is near like the UCLA Brentwood area. It's bordered by Santa Monica, Beverly Hills. It's a nice area, upscale area. I did a probation year there, so it's basically your first year out of the academy where you pretty much are still in training, you're learning what to do and how to be a police officer. After my probation year, I ended up in Southwest Division, which is pretty much in between like Dorsey High School in the jungles and USC. We also go from like 54th Street to Adams Boulevard. So I was there for maybe about 2 years, and immediately I saw like a shift in when I switched divisions from West LA to Southwest. I saw a shift in the energy that the officers were giving, citizens, civilians, particularly minorities, blacks and Hispanics.
I wonder what that shift in energy was like. He's about to get into it. I already got ideas.
And for me, it was it was rough trying to figure out like how to go about the situation. Obviously, you'd hear stories, and there's even some things that I've been through before I got into the LAPD. And so there I was, 22 years old, seeing some of these things firsthand. I was kind of trying to figure out how to go about these situations. August 2020.
How do you, like, as an officer and you fresh on a job and you got people around you with tons of experience doing the job, and then now you're on the job and you're seeing how they are actually acting on the job and how they handle the job, and it's not something that you would normally do. It goes against your morals. So what do you do in a situation like that? You're supposed to do what you would normally do. You don't follow the crowd. You don't follow a multitude to do evil. That's not what you do. You do what you're supposed to do. And if anybody else got a problem with what you're doing, then you got a problem with what I'm doing. But I'm not gonna go and commit crimes against people because y'all are doing it. Like, that don't make no sense. You might as well don't even be a police officer if that's what you're in there for. You're supposed to be protecting and to serve. That's your job.
Two, I was filming a movie that I'm working on. It's unrelated to the LAPD. I was on an off day, and we were almost done with the film day. Me and the sound guy, we had left one location, and we had went back to my house. We were about to film 2 scenes at my house. The rest of the crew had got there a little bit before us, and so there was no parking, so we had to park across the street. We arrived to the house maybe about 7:20 p.m. and we were sitting in the car talking, just chopping it up. I think we were talking about filming or something like that. And after about a minute and a half, we finally got up to get out of the car. And as I get up and open my door, I see 3 officers parked right behind us, kind of parallel, getting out of their vehicle. And me being a police officer, I understand, like, okay, they're about to initiate a traffic stop. They were looking at us. They were behind the door, so I didn't see if they had.
That's crazy. Like how you, right? It's crazy. You're a police officer, and then now you're about to be encountered by police officers. They don't know you're a police officer. You black. You're probably in the wrong community. You're not supposed to be in. So they're going to treat you as such until you allow for them to understand that you're an officer. See, me, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just let you do your thing, and then we're going to see what happens at the end. But it's crazy.
Had their hands on their guns, but I think that's the protocol usually when you're about to do a traffic stop. So I immediately put my hands up, told them I was a police officer. I had my ID and my firearms on me, which I'm allowed to carry as a police, or I was allowed to carry as a police officer. And so they told me, okay, just get up against the fence. And so I went with protocol. I was a police officer, but at the end of the day, I'm a black man with guns. So I went with protocol. And I got up against the fence. They handcuffed me and my passenger. And the next thing they said, they cuffed me, they took the guns out, and the next thing they said was, okay, we're gonna go into your car. And I told them, no, you guys don't have consent to go into my car. At that point, I didn't do anything wrong throughout the night, but for me, it's like, why are you guys detaining me? I just, I have my gun on me, but I told you I'm a police officer. All you have to do is check my ID. And they were just like, oh, we just want to go in the car and make sure you got nothing else in there.
So this brother tells them that he's an officer, and he still detains the brother. Like, they don't have no respect for the blue. They say blue lives matter, but apparently they don't have no respect for the blue unless you have a certain complexion for the protection. That's just the way that it works. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that everybody not equal. It's unfortunate that we have to go through these things and have these fears, even though we're in the right positions. This man is our officer. There's no way that he should be asking him why is he still detained. There's no way. He's supposed to know what's going on. They're supposed to inform him of whatever problem that they have or whatever that they notice and take care of it from there. Beside the fact that he is an officer, this goes for anybody who's in this predicament. Okay, there's no way you should have respect the person because, he's an officer, I'm not going to treat him a certain way. But apparently here, they didn't even care about that. They said, you're going to get the same treatment I'm going to treat any black man in a vehicle. That's it. Damn. Let's finish.
And then my passenger, he had a bag that when he saw them, he put it back in the car. So they were asking him about his bag. And I told him, just don't talk to them because they told me that they stopped me for tinted windows. If you stop the driver for tinted windows, then you shouldn't even be talking to the passenger. He has nothing to say. He shouldn't even be detained right now.
Right.
He hasn't committed any crime. He hasn't been suspected of any crime. So why is he being detained? And they start telling me, oh, you're a police officer. You shouldn't be telling him not to talk to us. And I said, you gave him your name, right? He said, yeah. I said, that's it then. They don't need nothing else from you. Like, they wanted to get into, where are you from, or this and that, and there's no need for you to talk to them, bro. If they're going to give me a ticket for tinted windows, then we will let that be that. So after the first 5 minutes of them pretty much going back and forth with me about why they stopped me and if they could go into my car, they finally checked my ID. And my police ID is right under my driver's license, so the officer went to pull out my driver's license, and he saw that I had my police ID right under it. And he was behind me. I kind of like looked at him, and I saw him kind of like do a double take as if he didn't want to see it, or he didn't want to believe that I actually had a police ID on me. And so after that, I started to ask him, okay, you see my police ID now. Why am I still in cuffs? And
the funny part is that he understood, like he saw him out of peripheral, and he looking like, damn, he really is an officer. Like are we dumb? Like, are we stupid? Like, we can't be put in a high position in a position that you would hold in the esteem for us to feel like we somebody? So we can't be placed in no good position without you thinking we lying about it? Come on, man. What is this? That's prejudice. That's racist. If you want to be blunt about it, it is. Let's continue.
They went to start saying, we can't verify that you're an officer. People quit and keep badges or make fake badges. He said this happens all the time. I've never heard of anything like that happening in my life. I've been stopped by CHP before. As a police officer, I showed him my badge, and he said, all right, you're good to go.
How did it make you feel in that moment when they're telling you that they can't verify that you're a police officer?
I felt betrayed. At that moment, I pretty much knew that my time in LAPD was done.
In that moment?
In that moment, I knew that it was done. I started to ask them to just request the sergeants because for me, I wasn't going to allow them to go into my car under any circumstances. Mm-hmm. But if they were going to do it illegally, we were going to at least have sergeants out there. So after they took about another 15 minutes saying that, then I started to ask them, okay, can we just get some sergeants out here? I understand where this is going. And, this is probably the end of the line for me. So, yeah, it felt, I kind of felt betrayed because for me, it's like I've worked so hard, like for all my life pretty much to stay out of trouble. I had two brothers that passed away, two of my, like we have the same father. They passed away a couple of years before I got into LAPD. So for me to shift through all these things and still get the same credentials that you guys have and for you guys to treat me like this because of the color of my skin, I felt betrayed. It was pretty traumatizing.
So you mentioned feelings of betrayal.
Like this brother, it's a mindset thing. So it's not that you're trying to be better. You're just trying to put yourself in a position where they don't see you as a threat. Like we're seen as a threat regardless if you know it or not. Like especially being a black man. Like being a black man, you're gonna be feared. And you don't even have to do anything. Look at Tamir Rice, a little bitty boy, 12, 13. How are you afraid of him? What did we do at little bitty ages like that showed you that you should fear us? Maybe it's the spirit that we have on us. The spirit of God that we have on us that gives you that fear. But let's continue.
But were there any feelings of like pain in that moment?
There were some feelings of pain. I think throughout the incident, so we were detained in front of or across the street from my house for about an hour and a half.
Damn.
After like the first 20 minutes, my film crew and my...
Wait. This man said he was detained for an hour and a half, even after telling them he was a police officer. Like, where? And this is America. Police be tripping up. What? What are you talking about, man? This is crazy, dog.
Family started to come outside. My parents came out. And it was also humiliating because it's like I'm trying to be professional. Here we are. We haven't committed any crimes. My film crew, my family obviously know I'm a police officer, and they see the way I'm being treated. It was humiliating. I cried for a while. Not because like I was scared, being in cuffs. I still haven't really like debunked like all the emotions yet. But it was a lot of emotion. It was a lot to try to like take in that moment and just understand like you can try so hard to be their version of a good person and still they're gonna treat you how they want to treat you when they see you.
That's a fact.
So it was there was a lot of emotion. My mom said that she felt like she was watching her son about to get taken away to be lynched. The things that they're doing to some of us, like some of the things that they're doing, like they did to Kyrie and Kanye, these are modern day examples of what they used to do to slaves when they did something that powers that be didn't like. So yeah, there was a variety of emotions that evening.
Okay, so we kind of pivoted
Wow.
a little bit. You know, you mentioned
The fact that slavery pops up, because everybody is aware that the police began with the slave patrol. If you did not know, there was police there. They started with the slave patrol, and when the slave patrol came, you boys better get running, cause we're gonna be coming right on after you. We got our dogs. Some of us got our horses too. You know them? Yeah. This brother had his mama feeling like he was about to DIE, be unalived by his own quote unquote blue brothers. How could that make anybody feel who's trying hard to live the life that you said is the way to live, and when I'm living that life, it's still not good enough? So what am I to do? You want me to be a criminal so that you can find something on me, so that you can have a reason to do something outside of the reason that you already have in your mind that you want to do anyway? So I'm going to give you a W. You already want to do it anyway. So if I am the right person at the right time for you, then you have a double stamped reason to do whatever you want to do, which is most likely do something to me that a brother like George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown had done to them. And that's crazy that this brother had to experience this. Let's continue.
Kyrie and Kanye West.
Yeah.
And, you know, just so that we're clear, what exactly do you mean about, this is the kind of things that they do to Black people when we're doing things that they don't agree with?
So with the Kyrie situation, I feel like it was a thing where they were pretty much going to get him to bow down to them. When I say them, I mean
Like the power structure?
yeah, obviously the NBA, but I would say yeah, just the power structure in America.
Facts.
And so it's like, and basically I felt like they were telling him, hey nigga, you got out of line, and now we're gonna punish you for it, and you need to step back in line. But I think that it was more so to show the rest of us that this is what's gonna happen to you if you step out of line.
Right.
And the same thing with Kanye West. I think it was to show every other Black celebrity, if you talk too much or if you step out of line, this is what's gonna happen to you.
Right.
With
That's
my
a fact.
situation, like even afterwards, it took me about a week and a half to resign. They gave me some time off to kind of try to get over it and think about, what had happened. I felt like they wanted me to pretty much I felt like they wanted me to pretty much denounce my community or my association to my community.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna do it. The guy, they said they found an illegal firearm in his bag. I understand that was against the law. However, he didn't seem like a bad guy to me. He wasn't out trying to commit a crime. He didn't have his gun in the air. He wasn't trying to shoot anybody. We were trying to, film.
This man trying to do a film. He don't know. Like, that's not his fault that this other person have whatever weapon that they have with them. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Just because we together, that doesn't mean that I am guilty by association. That's not always how that works. I see if we was premeditating a crime, we going to do the crime together. We talking about it. Y'all have us riding together all the time. Y'all know that we commit crimes, and y'all building the case on us, and y'all finally caught us together. And then now I'm a guilty by association because we always together. And when he had the illegal firearm, I'm with him, so we was about to commit a crime, then I understand that. But if we just together, I don't know you, you don't know me that good, we doing business, then what you don't have anything to do with me. But that's not how these laws are set up. They're skewed for us to go downhill, and that's crazy. Let's continue.
A film project. So I wasn't going to denounce my community or say, oh, he was just a bad guy. And I wasn't going to apologize to them
For being
for
with that
just
man.
just being black. I wasn't gonna do that, so I decided to resign.
So when we had our first interview about the situation,
It's crazy.
you mentioned to me how your time in the Los Angeles Police Department, you were able to draw parallels between law enforcement today and the origins of policing in America, which was runaway slave patrols. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you began to make that connection?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got to Southwest Division, I noticed that, well, actually, the first time I noticed it happen was in West LA Division. I was working with a partner officer. He wasn't from the U.S. He's from like Ukraine. He was an older officer. He had a little bit more time on me. We did a traffic stop on a black guy, and I think he had a black female with him. And he told the officer that he was from some gang in South Central. And immediately the officer, I guess this was like, I've never been trained on this at the time because it was West LA. But I guess the officer went back to his training, and immediately when he heard that, he said, okay, give me a second. He requested additional unit. When they got to us, he got the guy out of the car, he handcuffed
He
him.
didn't even do nothing yet.
And he basically went, it's a script basically. What are you doing out here? Are you on parole or probation? Do you have anything illegal on you? Where you headed to next? Things like that. I didn't really, at the time, I was maybe 6 months in. I didn't really think too much of it. But then when I got to Southwest, it started to happen a lot more frequently.
Damn. Okay.
I want to say at least 10 times I've noticed that they would go over the air and request additional units. And every time I got there, it was a group of black men. Most of the times, black men between the ages of 15 to 25. There was one time it was an older group, but usually they were younger black men. And then 2 times it was Hispanics. But in my time in Southwest and West LA, altogether, it never happened to a group of white young men or a group of, not even young men, a group of white men or a group of Asian men. And so for me, that's an issue. And so, like I said, it's a script. When they see us, it's okay, let's get everybody out of the car, let's handcuff everybody, let's pat them down, make sure they don't have any weapons. And then we go to who's on parole or probation, where you guys headed, can we search the car, which usually they don't ask the right way. They ask and it's out of policy the way that they ask to search the car. They pretty much say, hey, I'm going to search the car. And if you don't say, no, you can't search my car, then they're going to do it. But that's not in the policy of the LAPD. And so when you go back to slave patrol, what they would do.
Hold up. So they riding around LA looking for groups of black men to try to make sure that they can have them incarcerated again. It's crazy, but this is the life that we live, okay? And this is one of the reasons why interracial marriages is problematic. Because when you're having situations like this and brothers like this who's able to see it from a bird's eye view, and he's saying, look who they're targeting. And it's probably majority of YT people. Okay, and they're making sure that they're going to get as many of those black and brown people incarcerated as they can for their quota, and so that they can probably move up in the rankings a bit faster. Because if they're not doing it to every other group of people, then there's no way that we could be equal in this country. Let's continue.
They saw black people out and, going free, going wherever they were going. They stop them. Hey, where are your papers at? Where are you supposed to be? Who do you belong to? What's going on right now? Why are you outside? Why are you outside of bounds? Why are you outside your lines? And I think for them, they don't even realize that sometimes that it's like nothing's really changed. They just think that, oh, this is just how things are. But things are like that because that's how they started.
Right.
Really what they do a lot of times is when policies have to be changed and when we pass laws, they find ways to maneuver around them. So yeah, that's the parallel between modern day policing and slave patrolling.
So how did you feel?
It's crazy that this brother able to parallelize these two events, these two types of people, because apparently the people that's running those particular groups of people didn't change. So the people who set up all of the laws and all of the policies on how they're going to interact with whatever group of people came from somewhere. So our interactions with the police came from the slave patrol. Okay, because you don't see nobody else having the same issues that we have with police officers. And that's crazy. And this is just part one. If y'all want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe. Let's get it.